You know what? I've just finished making a video for my YouTube channel on the gear I'm using today. As I'm sat here editing some images, it makes me think to myself about my gear, about photography gear in general, and which is or what is the most important part of my gear. And it made me realize when I'm out taking landscape photography, what's going through my mind when I depress the shutter release? What's going through my mind when I'm hiking down some country trail or the side of some mountain with the wind blowing in my face, maybe the rain, the sunshine? The things I'm thinking about, the things I'm feeling, the emotions that's running inside of me at that time. When I'm looking across a landscape expanse, a vista, be it a mountain range or fields, a lake, whatever it might be. I think those things are really what photography is all about. So you know what? What's going through my mind, the emotions I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about when I press that shutter release is so important. I think the most important part of all my photography gear is me, or in this case, you, the photographer. So even though we look at gear and we think about, yeah, this would be great, that would be nice, love to have the top of the line Canon or the top of the line Nikon or Olympus or Sony, whatever it might be. All those things, the camera, the lens, the tripod, the lights, the gear that you use, it's just an extension of you. The most important gear that you can have is you, the photographer. Yeah, that's what I think. Hi guys, Gary here with Gary Clayton Photography. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, so today this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the gear I'm using now. About 2 months ago, I bought a new camera, or a new camera for me, which was a Canon 5D Mark II. This guy right here. Now I did buy this as a used camera, which I have no problem doing as long as I can check them out closely or I know about the camera. But anyhow, this was my first kind of venture into full frame. If you've been watching all my other YouTube videos, you'll know up until that point, 2 months ago, I shot primarily with a crop sensor, such as my Canon 50D, which is today my backup camera. It's a great landscape camera and I love this camera and I will still shoot with it, and I do. But I did move, as I say, I did move up to a full frame, and I did so by choosing the Canon 5D Mark II. The reason why I chose the 5D Mark II was primarily price and cost overall. Now, having said that, so the 5D Mark II is my primary camera, the Canon 50D is my backup camera. Let's take a little moment and talk about some of the lenses I use. So, on my 5D Mark II right now, I have my 28 to 135mm Canon lens. This was not an expensive lens. I bought this used probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and I paid 150 Canadian dollars for this, around 110 US. It came from another professional photographer that I knew, and I knew about the lens, and so I decided to purchase it when it became available. It's my everyday go-to lens. I love this lens. I use it all the time. My wide lens is a Canon L series lens, which is an 17 to 40mm f4 constant L series lens. Very nice lens. Again, not the top of the line in the L series lenses, but a good lens. And again, I purchased this as a used lens, but in mint condition. I paid about 400 Canadian dollars, somewhere around 280 to 300 US dollars for that particular lens is what I paid. I have my Canon 1.8 50mm, my Nifty 50, great little portrait lens. Love that little guy. My longer lens, of course, it's a Sigma, and it's a 70 to 200, a stabilized lens, f2.8. Why did I pick this lens? Well, I looked closely at Canon, I looked closely at Tamron. I like the Sigma. 2 reasons why. First of all, the price. I did buy this used. I paid 740 Canadian dollars for this, around 580 US dollars. It's in mint condition. Again, I knew about this lens. I knew the photographer that had this lens, and I decided to purchase it. And so far, I've been really happy with it. And it was a great deal for really a great lens. The Canon equivalent with the f2.8 stabilizes around $2,500 in Canadian, plus taxes. It takes it up to $2,800. So as you can see, this was $2,000 less than the new Canon 70-200. There's a lot of other things I can buy that I needed to buy with that money, so I elected to do that. My super long lens, again, is a Sigma. This is my 150-500 f5 to 6.3. Now, I bought this about 2 years ago. Again, I bought this as a used lens, paid about $725 Canadian, somewhere around the $570 US mark. Again, mint condition. I didn't know the photographer that owned this, but I did check the lens out. I looked at the advertisement. It was advertised as mint condition, barely used. That's exactly what it was, and at a great price, probably a little less than half the selling price here in Canada. I purchased this for 2 reasons. A couple of years ago, I did think about getting into maybe some wildlife photography, which as of yet I really haven't done. But I have taken some really cool images of the moon with this, which I kind of enjoy. That was pretty cool. This little guy right here, this is a Bauer. It's a 8.5mm, I guess, fisheye, if you will. You can have it's a manual lens. You can have an awful lot of fun with this. It's a useful little lens. It's a fun lens, and you can have a lot of fun with it. I don't use it that much, and it'll actually probably go for sale at some point. I'm not going to talk about all the gear I use. I really just wanted to show you the things I'm using on a daily basis today. Couple of speed lights, generic speed lights, not that expensive. I bought these off Amazon.com. They're basically Amazon.com essentials, if you will, their own basic brand. Great little speed lights, no problem with them whatsoever. For about 50 bucks a piece, they're great. And I use these constantly. Of course, an L bracket. I use this pretty much all the time. A cable release. Mandatory. Use it all the time. Something I like is a wrist strap. Attaches to the bottom of the camera. It's a great little unit, and I use it a lot for around town and everyday photography. Use it an awful lot. My filters. Well, of course, I have a 77mm CPL, circular polarizing filter. I have a 72mm CPL. Use them a lot. Something else I'm really trying right now is a circular ND filter. Hey, if anybody's got any comments or any experience with a circular ND filter, leave a few comments. I'd be interested in knowing. This is a 72mm, which attaches to my 28-135, again, which is my everyday lens. So I'm going to use it a little bit more. I have started using it, but not a lot. I'm going to see how it works, see how it makes out. I use a GoPro. I use 2. First of all, this video I'm recording with my GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition. I also have a GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. I use them a lot. With GoPros in mind, especially when you're out blogging and you're out on a hike, you're out doing landscape photography, a grip clamp, great idea to have, and again, I use it a lot. My selfie stick. The selfie stick I prefer to use is actually articulated, so it's joined in 3 different areas, so you can actually bend this and move this around. And I like this rather than just a straight stick. Although they are quite expensive, Canadian dollars about 100 bucks, 78, 75, maybe 75 US dollars, something like that. My tripod. Same tripod I've used for about 3 years now. And this is a good little tripod. It's a Proline Dolicia, again from Amazon.com. I'm not pumping Amazon.com, I'm just saying where I got it from. Again, I use this all the time. It's not a bad little tripod. It's reasonably solid for the money. This was only about $120 Canadian, $90, $100 US. So not a bad little tripod for that, and it works just fine. The drone I use. The drone I use, of course, is a Phantom series drone, and this is a Phantom 3 Standard. Now, sure, I would love to have the Mavic. I can't afford it. I'm a working photographer, and you know what? I'm just not there. I just can't afford it. But I've owned this for about 2 years now, and except for the first year, where I had some software issues, it's been a great drone, and I love it, and I use it all the time. The software issues went away about a year ago when I actually stopped downloading the firmware updates. Hey, I don't know. But I use that particular drone pretty much all the time. And of course, it's remote control. So this is the basic gear I use on a pretty much everyday kind of job, if you will. Now keep in mind, I shoot weddings, portraits, real estate, commercial, event, product, landscape. I also do underwater photography. You may have just seen my recent video, which was episode 40, and that's where I'm doing some underwater photography off the north and south coast of Cuba. Totally different gear for that. We did do a little bit of a review, or a little bit of what's in my underwater photography gear bag about 2 months ago. So check that out. It's kind of interesting. But none of this is what I use for any of the underwater stuff. This is all what I call topside photography gear. Also, on a daily basis, part of the gear I use, of course, computer. I love Lenovo. This is a Lenovo ThinkCentre, which is an all-in-one. Over there, I have my Lenovo ThinkPad, which is a T520i. My Canon printer, Pro 100. Use it all the time. Pretty much everything that I print, up to 13 by 19, is done right with this. In fact, everything is done with this particular printer, and I do sell a lot of images. All comes out of here. So that is pretty much it. Now, I have 2 bags that I use. Right here is, again, my Amazon Basics. This is kind of my, I'd call it just an everyday go out, shoot type bag. Basic compartments, great little bag. Also has a pocket back here for a 15-inch laptop, and it's great. Comes with a foul weather cover or a rain cover. Awesome. Great little bag. I've had this one for 2 or 3 years, and I use it a lot. Something that's new, relatively new to me, is this particular bag. Now, one dilemma I had was, I'm lucky enough to get to travel all over the place, or even if I stay local. But if I want to take my DSLR gear with me on a hike, with landscape photography in mind, but I also want to take my drone, I couldn't do that in my Amazon Basics bag. But what I found was, I found this guy right here. Now this guy is an Ultramax Pro 2. You can spend a ton of money on a decent gear bag. I didn't. Again, I'm just your basic working photographer. But what I like about this particular gear bag is I can take my drone with me, just like so. It fits right in here, and it fits in pretty good. It works really well. I've got 3 separate compartments also in here, which I can put lenses in, cleaning supplies, and whatever else I might need, some filters, a remote control, things such as that. I've got pockets here that I can also put lenses in. And this closes just like so, and it works really, really, really well. And I'm thoroughly happy so far with this particular bag. And again, it allows me to take my DSLR gear and my drone. In the top part is the top compartment, and the top compartment fits my DSLR with a lens. Also, there's lots of room in there for my wide lens. Probably even another smaller lens, a couple of smaller lenses in there actually. Lots of space. So as you can see, with this, I can take my drone, my DSLR gear, and attached to this little strap on the front, my tripod. This thing works great. I only paid about 80 Canadian dollars for that delivered to my door. I check things out, and again, I'd love a think tank or something along those lines. It maybe cost $400, $500, $600. Couldn't afford it. This is a good bag for the money. Quality of build, I'm going to say it's okay. Obviously, it's not going to compare to a $600 bag. But for the money, it's great. So hey, there you have it. That's the gear I'm using on an everyday basis. Again, just to recap, I shoot all kinds of things in photography on a daily basis. I'll do real estate, portrait, wedding, landscape, underwater, event, product. I do a lot of that with this gear. In this studio, on this work table with my laptop, my desktop all in one, my printer. All my work is done pretty much right here as far as the after shoot is concerned, all the editing, all the printing and so on. So yeah, I'll even do product work right in here, product photography for magazines, for different clients who are putting their items for sale in magazines or on eBay, this kind of thing. It's all done right here. Hey, hope you found this interesting. Leave some comments about some of the gear you're using. I'd love to know. Hey, thank you. Thank you for watching Gary Clayton on Gary Clayton Photography on my YouTube channel, and we will talk to you next time. Have a great day. Bye now.